Sometimes, life doesn't break you because you're weak, it breaks you to rebuild you into someone unstoppable. Ethan sat on the cold pavement outside a coffee shop, his hands trembling from both the freezing wind and the weight of disappointment. Just hours ago, he had lost his job, again. It was the third time in a year. His rent was due, his phone battery was dying, and his dreams of becoming something more felt like fading stars in a dark sky. He looked up at the glowing city lights. Everyone seemed to be moving somewhere, fast, confident, successful. And here he was, lost, broken, and questioning his purpose. Ethan had always dreamed of becoming a motivational speaker, someone who could inspire others to rise after falling. But tonight, he couldn't even inspire himself. He whispered to himself, maybe I'm not meant to succeed. Maybe life just isn't for me. But then, something strange happened. An old man, sitting nearby, overheard his whisper. The man, wearing a torn brown coat and a gentle smile, walked over and sat beside him. Young man, he said softly, you sound like someone who's standing on the edge of giving up. Ethan forced a smile. You could say that. The man nodded, then looked straight into Ethan's eyes. Do you know what's funny about success? What? Ethan asked. It only comes to those who are too stubborn to quit. Those words hit Ethan like lightning. Too stubborn to quit. The old man continued, I used to sleep under bridges once. Lost everything, family, home, dignity. But I refused to believe that was my ending. I worked, learned, failed, cried, and tried again. Now, I own 3 businesses. You don't lose when you fail, you lose when you stop trying. Then he stood up, patted Ethan's shoulder, and said, Get up, son. The world doesn't owe you anything, but your dreams do. And just like that, he walked away. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. Those words, too stubborn to quit, echoed in his mind. He realized that maybe his problem wasn't failure. It was fear. Fear of trying again. Fear of rejection. Fear of not being enough. So he made a decision. He would start small, one step at a time. The next morning, he took out his old notebook and wrote at the top in bold letters. Today, I begin again. He went online and started applying for part-time jobs, anything that could help him survive while he worked on his dream. He got a small delivery job, enough to pay rent and keep food on the table. But every night, after finishing his shift, he would come home, open his notebook, and write ideas, speeches, quotes, lessons from his failures. He started recording short motivational videos with his cheap phone camera. The lighting was bad, his voice cracked sometimes, but his message was real. Nobody watched at first. A few views, 1 or 2 likes, sometimes even hate comments. Bro, this is cringe. Get a real job. Who do you think you are? Ethan read every comment, and smiled. Because this time, he wasn't going to stop. He reminded himself, too stubborn to quit. Weeks turned into months. His videos slowly started reaching people. One day, a woman commented, your words stopped me from giving up on life. Thank you. Ethan froze. He realized, he had finally helped someone. And that's what he always wanted. He kept going. More videos. More passion. More storytelling. He studied other speakers, practiced daily, refined his tone and message. He started waking up early, exercising, journaling, becoming the person he used to admire from afar. Then one day, he received an email. A local youth conference had seen his videos and wanted him to speak, in front of 500 students. Then one day, he received an email. A local youth conference had seen his videos and wanted him to speak, in front of 500 students. Ethan's hand shook as he read it. Him? The same guy who was once homeless, jobless, hopeless? The night before the event, he stood in front of the mirror, practicing his speech. His reflection looked stronger now, confident, alive. But deep inside, he was still terrified. What if I fail again, he thought. Then he smiled and whispered, "Then I'll fail forward." The next day, standing on stage, Ethan looked at hundreds of young faces staring back at him. For a moment, he froze, then remembered the old man's words, "You don't lose when you fail. You lose when you stop trying." He took a deep breath and began his speech. Ethan's speech. A few months ago, I was sitting on the sidewalk, broke, alone, ready to give up. I thought my life was over. But today, I stand here because of one truth. Life will break you, but only to rebuild you stronger. Every failure is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Every rejection is not a wall, it's a redirection. And every pain is not punishment, it's preparation. The audience went silent, completely drawn in. If you're sitting here thinking you're not enough, remember this, you are not behind. You are not late. You are becoming. You just need to keep moving. Don't quit, not when it hurts, not when it's hard, not when nobody believes in you. Be too stubborn to quit. Because one day, the same people who doubted you will tell others how they met you. When Ethan finished, the room exploded in applause. People stood up, clapping, cheering, some even in tears. In that moment, he realized, the pain he once hated had built the strength he needed to inspire others. After the speech, students came up to him, thanking him, hugging him, telling him he changed their mindset. Ethan smiled humbly and said, "No, you changed it yourself. I just reminded you what you already had inside."